Hello, everyone. If you are here, thank you so much for being here. Go ahead and type your name in the chat and then where you're from. And then we're going to just wait a couple of more minutes for a few more people to come in. So let me know your name. Tell me where you're from. Anything else that you want me to know about you, why you're here, maybe some experiences that you've had with holiday food, that type of thing. So let me just make sure that my chat is on. Sherelle, hello. Good to have you from Washington State. Love that. Good. Awesome. As you guys kind of trickle in, thank you so much for being here. Feel free to say there's a live chat going on. So feel free to tell me your name and where you are from right in the chat there. All right. Well, we are going to get started right on time. Thank you so much for your flexibility. I sent out the wrong email in the wrong time. All right. Well, welcome. My name is Shannon Polson. I am a note gal. I've been doing this for a little over 17 years and I still love notes. So if you kind of see me looking to the side, I'm just looking at my notes. So I am Shannon Polson. Like I said, I have been doing this for over 17 years. I help midlife and senior women create the habit of exercise so they can be strong, mobile, and do the activities they love as they transition into the different seasons of life. So today we're here talking about realistically prepping for the holiday season, trying to avoid any of that guilt sneaking in. So basically, our strategies today are going to help you bounce back faster versus always starting over. And you kind of know that cycle, right? Like that I'll start Monday cycle that we want to try to avoid. So let's start with this. So again, we have our chat room. So feel free. I want to see in the chat, yes or no. Have you ever felt anxiety around holiday food and kind of confusion on what you should or shouldn't do or what you should or shouldn't eat? So go ahead and type in the chat if you've ever felt anxiety around food and the holiday season. Sherelle, oh yes. Awesome. Well, keep typing in. Let me know your thoughts. Just a simple yes or no. And the nice thing about these responses is it's validation that this is real, right? Like this is a real struggle or anxiety that us women and men face when around the holiday season. And it's very, very common. But the reason why you're here is because you're ready to change it. So I want you to not start over every Monday. I want you to create the pattern of bouncing back right away. And our 3 strategies that we're going to talk about today are actually within a bounce back method. So the bounce back method is trying to break the patterns, the mindset patterns, such as once January hits, I'll get started. Once my hormones are more imbalanced and I feel more like me is when I'll start working out. I've already messed up eating today already. I'll just start again on Monday. So we're trying to avoid those mindset and shift that pattern of thought. And this is where our 3 bounce back strategies come into play. The 3 strategies are eat this before that, you're planning your flex days, and then also when to move your body. So we are going to dive right into these strategies, but first I need to let you know a couple of things. I want to let you know what this masterclass isn't. We are not here to count calories, to weigh our food, or to count our macros. We are not here to lose weight. We are not here to focus on an overnight quick fix or an overnight trend. And we are not here to figure out what everybody else is doing. So we're here to find strategies and focus that works for you. All right. So digging into our first strategies, eat this before that. So we want to set the baseline to any snack or meal, and that starts with a vegetable, right? I feel like we all know this. So you always want to start out with a veggie. Think of this again as the baseline into your body. The first thing your body is going to absorb are the nutrients of your vegetable. You want to have at least half of your plate full of veggies if you're at mealtime, or if you're snacking, you're at an appetizer type party, always start out with your vegetable. The reason why we want to start out with our vegetables and maintain them on our plate is because this helps actually slow down digestion, helping us to feel fuller faster. And this also reduces the risk to overeat. So With vegetables, we're always starting out with that. We want at least half on our plate. And we always want to start out our appetizer with a vegetable as well. Second, protein. We want lean, rich protein. We want that on at least a quarter of our plate. Again, if you're eating any kind of appetizer, what kind of protein can you reach for? Okay, you got your veggies, you got your protein. Protein is so good with muscle recovery. We're made up of millions of cells, and as is protein. So we're really feeding and absorbing the amazing nutrients of protein. And also, it's so good at helping us feel full. Okay, fuller, faster. We love that. Next up, hydrate before your meals. Okay, hydrate before your meals and even during your meal. So before you get started eating, again, whether it's an appetizer style cocktail party or you're down for your Thanksgiving dinner, you're having a glass of water before you start eating your meal. One thing that I always have is I always ask, am I actually hungry? Do I want an apple or do I want a cinnamon roll? And if I want an apple, I know that I'm truly like, yep, give me the apple, give me the raw veggies. I am actually very hungry. If I'm just craving some kind of sugary treat like a cinnamon roll, it's like, nope, Shannon, go grab a glass of water, go on, move into something else. So hydration is huge, and a lot of times our body is unable to distinguish the difference between being thirsty and hungry. Just grab a glass of water. All right, next up is why we want to focus on leveling out our blood sugar. So why we want to focus on veggies on our plate, lean protein. Okay, we always want the fiber, we want the fruits, all of those items, and then also hydration. So why do we want to keep our blood sugar level? Well, the crazy high-low roller coaster of doing this throughout our body actually over time gets really, really fatigued. And then it causes insulin resistance. And then with that, later causes diabetes, and the body fatigues. It can't handle the up and down roller coaster that you're doing this. So using the eat this before that strategy, whether you're snacking, whether you're working on a meal, go ahead and use that so we can maintain those blood sugar levels. All right. So the bounce back method really comes into the eat this before that method because we really want to focus on our next decision. We are not here to be perfect. We are here for progression. So let's say that you are at an appetizer or you're at your meal and I started out, with a sweet treat. I started out with a fried snack. It's okay. What decision can you make next that's going to involve the veggies, the fruits, or a glass of water? Okay, so our bounce back method is to avoid feeling guilty for maybe the decision that we shouldn't have, that's not aligning with our goals. Bounce back. Let's get right into that next decision and let's make it good. All right. Number 2, plan for your flex days. One of my favorite. So the flex day, a lot of people call this a cheat day. We are trying to stay away from saying the word cheat day because it seems very, very restrictive, and we want to avoid that mindset. So I want you to think of your calories like your bank account. So imagine that you are going on vacation. You are trying to kind of save your pennies because you're going on this vacation. Think of your calories the same way when you come up to, let's say, Thanksgiving, since that's our next holiday. So we want to save up our calories. So how this works is thinking about your enter strategy is if you are planning to have your flex day on Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, Sunday to Wednesday, you want to really, really focus on high nutrient dense foods. So whole foods, you want your fiber, again, the veggies, the protein. You really want to focus on hydration. Let's say that you are into sweet treats or salty snacks. Avoid those the week leading up to Thanksgiving. So on Thanksgiving, without overloading or overdoing it, you can focus on that flexibility of having those sweet treats or those salty snacks. So again, it's kind of like that bank account. I'm saving up my calories. So come Thanksgiving, I still have those calories to eat, yet I'm maintaining my normal calorie range throughout the entire week. So you kind of have to look at it as like a week basis, right? Not just per day. All right, next up is imagine that your flex day arrives. You've been doing really, really good Sunday through Monday, or excuse me, Sunday through Wednesday, and Thanksgiving is here. It's your flex day. I love it so much. We're able to enjoy those treats again without going overboard. Do not skip meals. This is not a part of your enter strategy into your flex day. I need you to not skip meals. This again, going back to the eat this before that strategy with your blood sugar, skipping a meal, it's going to do too much to this, too much of this with your blood sugar level. And we want to try and keep your sugar levels as even as possible. So if you're not feeling hungry or you're feeling like, oh, I really do want to save up those calories in my bank for Thanksgiving, focus on those veggies, focus on that protein, but you still do need to eat. All right, next up is to avoid processed foods. And we know this, right? In general, we want to try to avoid our processed foods. But really, the week before any kind of event that you know that you're going to be eating more, really, really avoid those processed, high sugar, high salty food. We know that a lot of our holiday meals, our holiday snacks are already high in sugar and salt. So, again, let's try and save those calories for that bank. All right. So let's say Thanksgiving came, you did great with your flex day, you ate your veggies, you had your protein, you drank some water. Friday comes. Now, what is our exit strategy from that flex day? We want to return back to our normal eating. So we don't even actually want to go back to like that enter strategy. We would just want to go right back into our normal eating. And this kind of ties into our leftovers as well. We've got all of these wonderful leftovers that we only get once a year. How am I going to use it? Well, let's hop back into that first strategy. Eat this before that. Whether you have the turkey, the mashed potatoes, the sweet potatoes, the squash, all of the things, the pie, make sure that you're starting that meal off with your vegetables. Okay, is your protein your turkey, ham? That's fine. But just make sure that the veggies are there, they're plump on your plate, and you have at least half a plate full. And then enjoy the other items in moderation. A lot of times what I'll do is with like my mashed potatoes is I'll add bulk with my mashed potatoes. I'll cut up little peppers, little mushrooms, and this is on the side of already having a big veggie part of my plate. So get very, very creative. There's no right or wrong way, but do create volume with your leftovers with vegetables. Okay. All right. And then lastly, with the flex day, I just want to add this in. If you are one that weighs yourself often, please know that if the scale goes up, 1 to 5 pounds, you did not gain 1 to 5 pounds of fat. Okay. This is your body digesting more food than what you typically eat, different food than what you typically eat. You're probably retaining more water because, as we know, again, a lot of these foods around the holiday season are more sugar, more salt dense. Give yourself that grace period of about a week to returning back to your regular eating patterns. And then again, focus in on that hydration. So don't get discouraged. Don't feel guilty. Don't get down on yourself if the scale elevates by a pound or 5, because we actually fluctuate between that much throughout every day anyways. So just stay focused and then get back into the game, which ties into how the bounce back method works with our flex days. Is that day after your flex day, we're bouncing back. We're getting right back into the game. We are not waiting until Monday, and we are certainly not waiting until January 1st to get back into the game. And maybe even get back into the game late Thursday night. Okay. Instead of having pie, maybe we have half a piece of pie and some fruit. Okay. So make that next decision healthier than the last. All right. So last up is when you should move your body. And this is a pretty simple answer. So when we should move our body is all the time, every day. So there's a couple different strategies inside this that I want you to focus on. One is the one more day strategy. So if you are one where you get really overwhelmed thinking about exercise, like, oh, I haven't exercised in a week, 6 months, it's been 10 years. I'm kind of nervous about that. And I don't know how I'm going to maintain this. I don't know if I can keep going throughout the week. I want you to focus on just today. So look at your day in advance and don't think about it when I'm going to, or if I'm going to work out, but when am I going to work out? When am I going to fit some kind of movement into my day? Now, this is considered a business meeting. You cannot cancel and you cannot reschedule. You would not reschedule on your best friend, and I do not want you to reschedule on yourself. So, look at your day in advance, just that day. That's all we got to focus on. Pick 5-20 minutes of when you're going to move your body and repeat that again tomorrow. So again, if that's something that you just feel anxious, it's so much thinking about working out, just focus on one day at a time. Inside of that one more day fitness is the 5-minute rule. And if you've been reading my emails, I'm really big into just getting started and starting out with 5 minutes, because 9 times out of 10, when you start moving your body for 5 minutes, you're going to be like, yeah, I could go for like 5 more minutes, maybe even 10 more minutes. And all of a sudden you have a 10-15 minute exercise session under your belt, or you've been moving for 15 minutes. Okay. I don't want to go 5 more minutes. That's okay. You still gave yourself 5 more minutes. Again, we want to think of our fitness like our finances. Those small deposits every single day compound to big, massive results. So we don't need to spend hours in the gym. We don't need big, fancy, heavy equipment. We don't even need a really cute tank top. We just need to get started, and we need to show up for ourselves every single day, starting with at least 5 minutes every single day. And this can be as easy, or not as easy, I shouldn't say that, but this can be anything including, a 5-minute strength session. So maybe you do some body weight squats, some push-ups, some glute bridges, you're down on the floor, you're stretching, all the way to how can I make my household chores like more of a workout? How can you play with your dogs, your kids, and make that a workout? Can I make multiple trips between my car and my home carrying in my groceries? Now I just got 5 more minutes of walking in because I'm doing one bag at a time. Okay. And I know that we're busy. This is a busy, busy holiday season, which is why I want these three strategies for you to fit in to your busy lifestyle and to avoid that guilt and just that overcompensation come the Monday after a holiday. All right. So the bounce back method that ties into when to move your body is really just focusing in on the now. So not being concerned about what you did or what you didn't do yesterday, or worried about what you're going to do or not going to do tomorrow. Okay. When can I move my body next? And how is that going to look? So we're going to bounce right back into it. Even if you've been out of the game for a week, 6 months, 10 years, okay? Make that next movement decision a little bit better and then build off of it. All right. So lastly that I want to go over, we're going to have a Q&A at the end here. And then you're also going to get a free 7-day workout guide emailed to you after this masterclass. And that's just going to give you some added ideas on when to move or how to move your body for anywhere from a minute to 5 minutes. I mean, or you can make it a 10-minute workout, but just giving you ideas that you can do anywhere at any time just to start moving your body. All right. And the next thing too is I want you to know that I am here because I am not perfect myself either. Although I instruct these strategies to my clients, I use them myself every single day. I am not perfect either. And to give yourself grace whenever something doesn't go quite your way. Maybe you make a decision that isn't aligned with your goal. Maybe you haven't moved in the last week. Okay. Give yourself grace. And that's why I want you to bounce right back into it. We're not here to be shameful towards ourselves. We're not here to play the guilt game, what we have or what we haven't done. We're just here right now to focus on progress, not necessarily perfection. Okay, so I am going to open up the chat for any questions, and I see that we have a few from Sherelle. Thank you so much. Anybody else that has any questions, feel free to type in the chat. Otherwise, feel free to reply to my emails and send me an email, and we can go ahead and chat a little bit more individually as well. So buffalo chicken dip. Okay, let me go up. I've noticed that I feel better when I start with veggies and try to load up on some of those first before the main meal. Yes, absolutely, Sherelle. Again, we're just starting with that base. Think of all of the nutrients that your body is absorbing right away when you eat those veggies. And my favorite part, to your point, is you just feel fuller. I'm not getting full on the fried foods or whatever else is around me. I'm getting full off of the veggies. And then also, you kind of feel better too. If you do have like a sweet treat later on, you're like, well, I ate my veggies. And then buffalo chicken dip. Yes. So with anything, kind of like I mentioned with my mashed potatoes, this can go with buffalo chicken dip. Load up those items that don't typically have veggies with veggies. So buffalo chicken dip, you can easily chop or dice up some peppers, green, red, whatever, some red onion, maybe you want some celery in there. But do add some kind of vegetable volume into your meals, your dips, your side dishes. And if you are making meals for a mass amount of people and that's not really like what they are desiring, that's okay. Bring a side for yourself. I mean, if someone's judging you for eating more vegetables or bringing your own, let them judge you. Okay, you're here for you. And that's one thing about this masterclass is we're not here to see what everybody else is doing. Diet culture is so wildly noisy, telling you what you should or what you shouldn't do. You should look like this or not look like this. No, we're done with that. That's garbage. We're here to really figure out what works out for you and making you feel stronger, making you feel healthier. So 80-year-old you isn't sitting in a chair, stiff, immobile, can't even go for a walk. 80-year-old you is like, yes, I can get down and up from the floor comfortably to play with my kids or my dogs. I can go for a nice long walk and I don't feel pain afterwards. Okay, we're here to establish lifelong habits, not the quick fixes, not what this noisy outside social media is telling us what to do. So I love that. That's great, Sherelle. Again, just as a reminder with your question, buffalo dip, anything that you got, anything that you can add volume of vegetables to, do that and experiment with it. You might add a vegetable and you're like, that did not go with that. Fine. Now you know. Let's add something else next time. So all right, guys, I am going to say again, feel free to add a question in the chat. Otherwise, feel free to email me individually. I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear any takeaways that you had, and then also any questions that you have as well. So, all right, everyone, I appreciate you so much for taking time out of your busy day to join me this evening, and we will see you soon. Thank you.